Who's thinking about buying football in June? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for NFL and college football combo is $8.99, but using coupon code FOOTBALL100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code FOOTBALL100 to get your $100 discount, we'll also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Yes, so if July 4th, the highest scoring game is 10-9, you will get $190 in wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and wager bucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer. So act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the national championships and Super Bowl.
Welcome on in, folks. It's Asian Baseball Today time. I'm your host, Dan Alexander. And boy, are we excited to be back with you. Both these guys were pretty solid weekends, so let's bring them on in. We got Adam Trigger, we got Tokyo Brandon, and we got a full slate to get into here today, boys. So, Trig, I'm going to start with you because 8-1 run we're on. We got 4 straight in MLB. What do you have up tonight, and how are you doing, man?
Yeah, it's going good right now, Dan. Can't complain. 8-1 run, 4 straight MLB winners, hit another 5% MLB over the weekend in exciting fashion with the Mariners. Looked like a loss, and then they walked it off in the 9th inning, so that was great. Going for my 5th straight MLB win tonight, another 5% play. It's $9, part of $9 Monday. KBO has been going great as well, 8-1 across all sports, and I've got a KBO best bet up for Tuesday morning, also part of $9 Monday, just $9. So head over on my page. They're both up right now.
Gotta love it. Some big ticket plays loaded for our man Trig. I know Tokyo, you had a nice profit weekend, Brandon, 17% up. So both my guys are rolling right now. Tokyo, Brandon, how are you doing? And you have anything loaded for $9 Monday?
Doing pretty good, yeah. My weekend was, I think I went 7-1 in Japanese and 1-3 in KBO. So overall, I had a plus 17% profit over the weekend, so that was going well. I'm still winning about 62% of my KBO and 59% of my Japanese baseball. So, yeah, it's going pretty much like it did last season. $9 Monday, I have a 4% best bet in the KBO tonight, which I really like. You can grab that at my WagerTalk page, or it's probably on the front page of the WagerTalk website. And I'll be giving out a 2% client play at the end of the show.
And Tokyo Brandon also said before the show started he's not in as much of a singing mood today. So we'll see if that changes as the show goes on. But, some people may be excited about that. Some people may be hoping that changes. But, guys, let's get right into it here. Start with our standings update. We always like starting with this so everybody's on the same page. After I guess maybe SSG heard me talking about how the stranglehold was loosening. They said, we'll just sweep Hanwha over the weekend. They get a 3-game sweep. They're now 39-20. You got Kiwoom still not far behind. LG still making things interesting. We got Kia right behind at 4. And then we have your 29-win teams, or 28 with Samsung, Doosan, KT, all around that same kind of corridor, shifting up, shifting down. And then you got Lotte. The NC Dinos are last no more, as Hanwha has now slid right there into the last spot in our KBO standings. Adam, I want to go with you first because typically we start on Mondays with, kind of roster updates, but you're tracking something a little bit different, putting on a little meteorologist hat, and we got a weather report that you wanted to get into at the top of the show.
Yeah, so this will come up more than just this week. We haven't actually, it hasn't been bad to this point. When it rains, and Brandon can attest to this, when it rains over there, it really rains. And the rain is important in this league. I would say even more so than when you're capping like Major League Baseball, because the rain is essentially a free off day. Okay, something they do different in KBO is they typically don't play doubleheaders. They will at some point, but usually if there's a rain out in the middle of the week, they tack the game on to the end of the season, which I actually love. They have about 3 weeks at the end of the season reserved for makeups. So because they do get a lot of rain, they do get a lot of rainouts. So what that means is certain teams can really benefit from not having to play 6 games in a week. And I'm going to highlight those teams right now because it might lead you to a potential solid betting spot for a team that could really benefit from an off day as opposed to having to play 6 games straight. The teams that instantly come to mind are teams that lack bullpen depth. Okay, so Kia would be a team. I've been kind of talking about this for a couple weeks. They've got Nolan on the DL, and they've had a couple injuries that have not, really sort of hindered their bullpen depth. But it's definitely important because Kia in every other facet is really, really good. So I was talking about Kia last week being a play on when they've got all their bullpen guys. And if they end up getting a rain out in the middle of the week, it's almost like a reset to their bullpen, which probably makes it a pretty good spot to play on Kia. So I would keep an eye on and see if they get one canceled. Another team is Hanwha. We've talked about this for a couple months now. Their bullpen depth it absolutely kills them. So if they get a rain out in the middle of the week and get a free day off where they don't have to use 4 relievers to get through a game, you might find some value backing them the next day. The other team that comes to mind is SSG. So just to go, for an injury update, it looks like Kwang-Hyun Kim will miss his start this week. He got hit hard by NC last week. The reports were that he's tired arm, whatever you want to call it. But I believe he would have been starting tomorrow, and he's not. So that leads me to believe they're going to skip him this time around. And they've had they're really starting to get banged up in the pitching department because they have 2 guys that have yet to pitch this year that were supposed to return maybe early June and haven't yet. And then Kyung-Eun No has been out since late April. So SSG is now pretty much rolling without 4 pitchers. And they haven't gotten much from Ivan Nova, who's one of their import starters. So they could really benefit from a potential day off and not having to run through their bullpen in what would be a bullpen start. So those are really the 3 teams, because there's a lot of rain in the forecast this week that I would see if you can if they get rained out, you might actually be able to jump in with them the following day. But if they don't, those are 3 teams that could also be in trouble this week because they just don't have the bullpen arms.
So when it rains, it pours, says Adam Traeger, and potentially some money-making opportunities because of that. Maybe a little extra rest, alleviating some of those bullpen concerns. Brandon, it almost ties into what you wanted to get into because we talk all the time with these KBO and the NPB that, sure, they're like worldwide markets, but they're not as fluid of markets as Major League Baseball or especially the NFL. So when you break it down into these micro markets like team totals, like first fives, that's where you really maybe find some of the bigger inefficiencies. And you wanted to get into team totals, which you've been tracking and might be an indicator of some of those efficiencies.
Yeah, and I want to know, have you ever seen the rain? Anyway,
well done. If you let that one pass, that would have been a shame, Brandon. Well done. If you let that one pass, that would have been a waste.
I wanted to do the Rain song by Led Zeppelin, but I just can't sing that. So, anyways, yeah, I'm on team totals and game totals is something I want to focus on here, and I want to break it down by day of the week. So Adam was picking out some advantages to when you get a rain day off, and like he said, it's true in Asia here when it rains, it rains for like days and days, and you get like feet of rain. So it's pretty nasty. And we're going to start that tonight, actually, here in Japan. But Korea's weather is quite different. They're about a 4-hour plane ride to the north of us. But anyways, I went into the stats and I broke it down by day of the week. So as you would expect, scores are lower at the start of the week because people have all their bullpens rested, and scores get higher at the end of the week because the bullpens start to get tired and used. So let me just throw out the numbers, just straight up numbers. The average game score in the KBO on the season right now is 8.9. So there's an average of 8.9 runs for every game played, which has gone up and up and up since the season started. As you remember, in our first shows of the season, it was like 6. But anyways, so 8.9 is our a benchmark here. So on Mondays, the average game score is 7.4. And on Tuesdays, it's 8.8. On Wednesdays, it's 8.9. On Thursdays, it's 13.4. And on Saturday, for some odd reason, on Saturday, it goes down to 7.3. But then on Sunday, the average game score is 15.2. So this is just for the last month, right? Not the whole season. But these are kind of telling statistics because your bullpen gets rested over the weekend because, as you know, it's not like Major League Baseball where there's a game every single day. They take Monday off. So on Tuesday, everyone's rested. So it makes sense that on Tuesday, perhaps I misspoke when I said my stats before, but Tuesdays, I didn't mean Monday, I meant Tuesday. So Tuesday, the average game score is 7.4. So I'm going Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And the game scores go up, 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 up. And then on Saturday, for some reason, they dip down. And then on Sunday, they go way back up. So Tuesday is the day to bet your unders because everyone's rested. And for some reason, it dips down on Fridays and Saturdays as well. So I don't know. Maybe they play a 3-game series and then they save some guys for the next series. I'm not quite sure why the dip goes down on Fridays and Saturdays. But Tuesday is the day to bet your unders. And Sunday is the day to bet your overs in the KBO, mainly due to bullpens being tired or rested.
Wow. That's some nice breakdown right there, Brandon. So tracking the different days that these are potentially over, under plays. Well done. Nice work out of you guys right here at the top. Let's get into our featured game and maybe apply some of the information that you guys dropped off here. We're looking at the Doosan Bears and the Kiwoom Heroes. And Kiwoom has a chance to keep things interesting right there at the top with SSG. They're a 170 favorite against Doosan. Doosan coming off of a loss. Total in this one is 8. Adam, I'm going to go to you first. We haven't really talked about this Doosan team in a little bit. Kind of one of those that's just been floating around in that age of mediocrity that you guys talk about. What are you thinking about this Doosan Kiwoom matchup that goes tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I mean, Doosan, I expect him to shake things up soon because that's what their manager typically does when things are not like sort of running smoothly. And you're right, they're sort of, right around 500. For whatever reason, Ariel Miranda has been, I don't know where he is at this point. The MVP of the league last year makes 2 appearances, gets sent down. As far as I know, he's not hurt right now. I know he was like sent down for a little bit to work on some things after he didn't pitch well earlier this year. I assume we're going to see him back sooner than later. But the info on that is very vague. But I will say this: if I do think they're going to shake things up, and I do think that will improve their results. Their bullpen has been a disaster, second to last in the league now. And it's unfortunate because I'd love to take them plus 1.5 here because I think Kiwoom has absolutely peaked out on value at this point. So obviously here Eric Jokic. He's really good. 2.72 ERA, 0.97 WHIP. He's been one of the most consistent starters in this league the past, 3-4 years since he's gotten in the league. But, Doosan's hit him. And if you look at his last 6 starts, he's given up 3 or more earned runs in 4 of those 6 starts. So he's hittable. And in my opinion, I'd love to take the road team plus 1.5 here with the extra at that because that's an angle that I like. And Doosan's going to throw Shinzi Park. He's a bullpen guy. He's only making his 3rd start of the year. But one of his best start of the 2 was against Kiwoom, 5.1 innings. He gave up 1 run on 5 hits. So, maybe that is part of the shakeup where they're going to move him into the starting rotation because he has decent numbers against Kiwoom. So we'll see. But, Kiwoom's bullpen's been really good. That's ultimately what kind of put me off of, jumping in for like a best bet or client play with this play. Kiwoom, I expect them to regress at some point, but they really haven't. And, I'm looking for spots to bet against Kiwoom, but this one's just not good enough. So for a lean, I would lean toward Doosan plus 1.5 from a value perspective, but I need to see more before I, would make a play like that. So lean Doosan plus 1.5. Think it's a good value play, but not going to make my card.
A lean for our guy, Adam Trigger. Well, Brandon, I hear him talking about the solid bullpen for Kiwoom. I hear you talking about the stats of, games going under on Tuesdays. I know it's at 8. So it's not, you don't love it. How are you going to attack this game? Because when I hear him talking, I hear what you were talking about. It seems like it might be an under spot potentially.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say after that. Adam kind of took all my thunder there. I was going to basically make the same points he was making. And it's odd that this game is the highest total out of the games today, which is quite odd. I have some stats to throw out, but here's a spoiler alert. This is going to be my best bet. This game's going to be my best bet at the end of the show. So I'm not going to give too much out at this point. I'll save it for the end of the show. But yeah, Doosan's throwing out a relief pitcher named Park Shin-zi, and the guy can't throw strikes. He's got a 14 to 15 strikes to bases on balls ratio as a reliever. And I remember Adam saying a couple shows ago, if you see a pitcher who is regressing this season with the larger strike zone, that's a danger sign. And this guy is regressing as well. So this is a problem. Kiwoom is a minus 170 right now, which is a little steep to bet aside on this. But Jokic has been good, but he hasn't been indestructible. He's given up 3, 3, 3, and 1 in his last 4 starts. So he's not Superman. And he gave up 2 against Doosan in his last start against him. So he's not Superman, but he is one of the better pitchers in the KBO. And if you look at his peripherals, he is elite. He hasn't been performing elite lately. So I'm going to save the rest of my analysis for the best bet at the end of the show. But yeah, I pretty much agree with Adam on everything he said.
Tokyo Brandon going a little Carly Simon anticipation. Make them wait, Brandon, to the end to get the full thoughts here on the best bet coming your way from Tokyo Brandon. I'm not going to sing it. But I'll at least throw you a bone. Speaking of which, that's on me, Robert. I shouldn't have done it. That's on me, our producer, Robert. That's on me right there. Brandon, I am going to throw it back your way, get into the series breakdown here. You just wanted to take a look at two teams who, they've been struggling a little bit here. Just 3 wins in their last 10, and we're talking about Hanwha and Lotte. We talk all the time about maybe finding some good opportunities on bad teams that people don't want to bet. I don't know who wants to bet either of these teams, Brandon, but you're breaking them down right now.
Yes, I am. Hanwha is the worst team in the league. They finally fell to the bottom of the standings. But if you look at their games, they're a plucky team. I don't like that word plucky, but I mean they never give up. And you'll notice they score a lot of runs in the 8th and 9th inning, even when they're out of it. They never give up. They never die. But they're so easy to beat. So it's kind of how do you approach this game? It's Tuesday, and that generally means that scores are down. But I've noticed something in Charlie Barnes, who's starting for Lotte here, and he generally he performs poorly the second time around when he faces a team. And the first time against Hanwha, he shut him out pretty good. But he allows a lot of runs in his second meeting. He generally allows 2 or 3 runs to teams in the first 5 innings when he meets them the second time. Yoon Dae-kyun for Hanwha, he's had 2 starts that were great, but against Lotte, he gave up 3 in 6 innings. That's not quite so bad. He does have a 5.97 ERA, which is not very good. So I'm pegging this game to go over, actually. And if you look at these 2 teams, when they face each other, they faced each other 8 or 9 times this season. And in those 8 or 9 games, they're averaging 10.3 runs per contest. So I think the total on this was 8. I think 8 seems way too low to me. So I think today this will go over, and I think going on in the series, if we see 8s, I think over is the way to go. If you see team totals at 3, I think over would be the way to go as well. Lotte's bullpen is just awful. They're terrible, but Lotte's a pretty good hitting team. Both teams are averaging more than 4 runs per game in the last week. So, throw out a bad, right there you have a base for 8 runs when they're both averaging 4 to 4.5. You have a basis for 8 to 9 runs. You have one of the worst bullpens in the game, and you have a Hanwha team who's basically throwing out, sacrificial lambs to start the games because they have no starters. So I look at a lot of these games to be going over. So if you see 8s, I would be going over in those. If you see team totals at 3.5, I'd be going over in those as well in this series.
Potential over series as the Giants and the Eagles face off, says our guy, Tokyo Brandon. Adam, want to swing it to you for your series breakdown. Both teams coming off a loss here, so it's bounce back time. It's the Kia Tigers and the NC Dinos. You've been showing some optimism on the NC Dinos potentially digging out of the basement. They're no longer in last place, so how do you see this breakdown shaking out?
Yeah, so I like both of these teams. I'll just start with that. And then the other thing that's really notable here is this game's probably going to get rained out tomorrow. At least that's how I think Kia's approaching it. And if it doesn't, you might want to throw something on NC, maybe specifically first 5. So it looks like Kia's going to push back Ronnie Williams to tomorrow. And I have a feeling the reason they're going to do that is because it's probably going to rain. They've already kind of screwed Ronnie Williams by bringing him back early, forcing him to throw a relief appearance when he probably wasn't ready. And it's really like he's kind of been awful since he's come back. I feel like he got rushed back. And so it looks like they're going to give him an extra day of rest and not force him to not trot him out in the game that's probably going to be a mess if they play in the weather tomorrow. So Kia's going to go with Jung-Bin Kim. He's a reliever. My guess is they're going to try to, just see what they can get out of him. And if it doesn't work out, they'll probably throw the back into their bullpen and just reset for Wednesday. I think he is going to hope that this game gets canceled or there's a delay because they're telling me they don't want to burn Williams in this spot. NC is going to go with Jae-Hack Lee. He's 0-6, but he's been a lot better. So if you look at his last 3 starts, he's been a lot better. And I think it would be worth throwing something on NC first 5 here because even though Kia has some bullpen issues, they're rested, and NC's bullpen is worse. That leads me to the rest of this series. It looks like NC will definitely go with Chang-Mo Koo and Min-Hyuk Shin the next 2 days. Kia, I'd imagine they throw Ronnie Williams on Wednesday and then Ji-Young Im on Thursday. I don't know if I trust – Koo has been awesome. Even though I kind of want to fade him at some point because I don't know if he can keep this up. I also don't know if I want to step in front of him right now because he has been really good since coming back. Ronnie Williams, I do think will start to figure it out because he was fantastic before the injury. So I might look to play Kia on Wednesday. It'll probably depend on how rested their bullpen is if they even play tomorrow. And then the same thing on Thursday, based on Wednesday's result. If Kia has their bullpen arms, and it's Ji-Young Im facing off against Min-Hyuk Shin, I will probably look to play Im because I think he's gonna potentially have some positive regression as well. But if they play tomorrow, I do think NC right now they're like plus 105, maybe even money, probably right around the same for the first 5. I would lean toward NC. If tomorrow's game gets played, I'd lean toward NC. And you could also consider NC plus 1.5 because if the game does get messy or it does get rained out, that bet would be a push. And so you maybe have an opportunity to take the 1.5 early and make a live play based on how the game's going, if it gets rained, if it gets delayed. So just some thoughts for that series. Hopefully, you can find yourself a winner in there somewhere.
The weather's cooperating. Could be a play on spot. NC Dinos as they're taking on Kia. There's your series breakdown from Adam Trigger. We're going to go right back Trig's way for the best bet. But first, want to remind you, head on over to these guys, WagerTalk.com, WT.buzz/AT and WT.buzz/TB. Both running hot. Got some big ticket plays, a 5%er for Adam loaded for $9 Monday, a 4%er for Brandon loaded. So check these guys out. Can't suggest it enough. So Adam, like we mentioned, that 5% ticket play up, only $9, 4 straight in Major League Baseball, and you're generously going to give a free bet to the folks right now here on Asian Baseball Today.
Yeah, so my favorite play on the board is up as a 4% play at WagerTalk. Bonus best bet would be NC plus NC first 5. I just don't think it's going to get played because that looks like it's got the worst weather in the forecast. So I'll go to LG Samsung, and this one for me is simply, I think the starting pitchers probably cancel each other out here. Numbers are similar. Plutko, 3.57 ERA. Albert Suarez, 2.55 ERA. Both similar whips. But LG is just so much better in every other facet of the game that I have to lean their way here. I think it's minus 130, minus 135. A little bit expensive. This might have been might have made my card if I was getting more like minus 105, minus 110. But I do respect Suarez. He's the one guy on Samsung I tend to not want to bet against. But if you get, this is one too where if you're able to in-game bet, and this is a tie game or it's close, or maybe even LG is trailing by 1. Late in the game, LG is going to have an advantage here because their bullpen is by far the best in the league. LG is starting to hit. They now have the second highest batting average in the league, and in my opinion, that's only going to go up. So this is really this is a lean here for me. But Samsung struggles with elite pitching. If you look at what they did over the weekend, Chang Mo-Koo, they had no chance. Drew Rucinski, they had no chance. They did barely anything against either of those guys. They won the game against Rucinski, but that was once NC's bullpen got involved. I think they only scored 1 run off of him through 7 innings. Plutko is in that sort of category of low whip, good strikeout stuff, guys that like a guy that Samsung should struggle with. So best bet here for the show is going to be the LG Twins, minus 135. I just think they're the better team. And that's how I would look in this game.
Take LG on the money line, says Adam Trigger. Some potential in-game betting opportunities if you have a sports book that is offering that. Keep checking that out. LG Twins money line. Brandon, we made them wait long enough. It's time. You too have a big ticket play loaded, 4% loaded for you. A nice 17% profit weekend for the backers and riders with Tokyo Brandon. And it's best bet time now. The wait is over. Brandon, the floor is yours.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a little bit of purple rain, purple rain. How's that? A good Prince impression.
It's all right.
So that was probably the second best Super Bowl halftime show. That was probably the second best Super Bowl halftime show ever. The best was this year's halftime show. I'm watching it over and over. It was awesome. Anyways, so my best bet is in the Doosan Kiwoom game, as I said earlier. We got a relief pitcher for Doosan who can't throw strikes. But like I said, these two teams get together. The game score is generally 6.5, really low. Kiwoom's bullpen is absolutely dominating these days. And I was looking for Kiwoom to regress, but they aren't regressing lately. Jokic, he's awesome. He has had a couple of chinks in the armor. However, I think on a Tuesday with the pitchers rested up, I'm looking at this game to go way under. I especially like the under in the first 5, and I took a look at the numbers. It was 4.5. 4.5 in the first 5 seems way too high for this game, where I have the total to be pegged at 7.24. I like either the under 8, but even more so, I like the under 4.5 in the first 5 innings. So that's where I'm going with this one. I think the hitters will, with a little bit of time off, will be a little cold, and I think the pitchers rested will be able to hold them down at least in the beginning of the game. So that's where I'm going. The Kiwoom Doosan game, first 5 under 4.5.
Going with an under in the first 5, and for all of our best bets, we're hoping the weather is cooperating there. So looking towards the under 4.5 in Doosan and Kiwoom is our guy, Tokyo Brandon. And Adam, want to remind you, was looking at LG Twins on the money line. Well, now that we know your favorite halftime show, Brandon, was the one this past year, that means on Thursday we want only Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Dr. Dre. Those are the only songs we're hearing from you on Thursday. So I'm holding you to it. And that's going to do it for us. We will see you on Thursday. We're excited for it.
Gonna party like it's your birthday. Gonna drink Bacardi like it's your birthday.
All right, there we go. All right, so if you want to hear some more of Tokyo Brandon singing, you're really here to get the great information these guys drop. Hit the like button, subscribe. You heard our full thoughts on the slate, so drop yours below in the comments. And until then, for Tokyo Brandon, for Adam Trigger, for Robert doing a great job behind the scenes, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll talk to you Thursday on Asian Baseball Today.
Who's thinking about buying football in June? Well, with the super early bird football promotion at WagerTalk and Sports Memo, we have a few reasons why. Early bird pricing for NFL and college football combo is $8.99, but using coupon code FOOTBALL100, you can take $100 off, dropping the price to $7.99. If you purchase by June 30th and use coupon code FOOTBALL100 to get your $100 discount, we'll also toss in an additional bonus. On July 4th, we'll take the highest scoring MLB game of the day and give you $10 for every run scored. Yes, so if July 4th, the highest scoring game is 10-9, you will get $190 in wager bucks to use how you choose. This super early bird $100 discount using Football 100 and wager bucks bonus expires on June 30th with no exceptions. So if you plan to bet football this year, this is the lowest price we will offer. So act fast and lock in your favorite football handicappers in both NFL and college football through the national championships and Super Bowl.